When I saw the story, I thought, maybe the age is a little bit behind the curve in terms of covering this kind of story. I just got the sense that maybe you guys were either a little bit behind the curve or you're waiting for more evidence and more data to surface.
Yeah.
Before then you give it some proper
Yeah,
coverage.
right now there's not much data on it because it's just the nature of the whole thing is like very hard to keep track of.
Yeah.
It's constantly changing. Like even within like a few months, the numbers can like run quite far.
So the Khazanah report came out first or the INTI report came out first?
The Khazanah report came out first in October.
Okay.
Then I went for the INTI survey, which was I think a few weeks after that. Yep.
So you kind of get the idea, you get the impression that things are getting serious when the big, investment houses and the big universities are starting to give this proper research, right? Because I mean, these are guys with resources and money to put behind proper research.
And even with their own like funding and all that, they still can't.
They still can't put their finger
get
on
an
it.
accurate estimation of the new economy.
Yeah. So when you spoke to Eleanor of Khazanah, I mean, he's the one who produced the Khazanah research. What kind of stuff? What are the kind of top 2 or 3 things that came were very clear to you?
He noted this rise in more self-employed people in urban areas.
And it's catalyzed by what, did he say?
He said this is mostly, I guess, the younger generation find it less attractive to work in a fixed full-time job, and some of them find it hard to actually find a full-time job.
Okay.
So
so not necessarily driven by job losses, but self-initiated.
That's part of it. Yeah.
Okay. And also because they can't get a job in the workforce, right?
Yep. So yeah, it's kind of difficult for them. So they try to find other avenues to like make a living.
Okay.
So, but then the research doesn't really pinpoint like how many are doing freelance and all that. It's just because the data.
Because it's unfirst, right? People leave, they come back, they come in, they come out.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And even if you're full time, you also might be freelancing as well.
Yep. So yeah, just the nature of it is very difficult.
What other things surfaced from the Khazanah and INTI research?
He mentioned like some concerns, like in terms of in order for us to get this segment to thrive, we need like certain social safety nets, because currently our current system is not able to cater for this new economy.
I mean, certainly retirement is not an option, right? Because if you might not even be making enough to contribute to EPF, and there's no employer portion as well.
Yep.
So what kind of policy directions are Khazanah going?
I think the government has put some stuff in place, like the EPF has this One Malaysia Retirement Savings Scheme.
Correct.
This was introduced back in 2010.
Correct.
But currently
But you've got to be making enough to contribute, right?
Yeah.
You don't make enough.
If you don't have the money in the first place.
Correct.
So the government has, I think in the latest budget, they introduced an additional contribution from the government.
Okay. But it's one-off, right?
Yeah, it's a one-off thing. I think they do it every few years.
Okay.
I think they increased it like a few times already, just to encourage more people to save.
So this infographic is obviously a combination of both researches.
Yep.
When you went to INTI, what was your impressions?
Okay, so INTI had this survey. They surveyed like 300 freelancers from Malaysia. So what they found out was 68% of the freelancers they said freelancing was their first choice.
That's 7 out of 10 roughly, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
but it's a young demographic.
Yep. Mostly
right?
young people.
Between 20 and 25.
66% of them, yeah.
Okay.
So it's a more popular thing among the younger generation. So yeah.
Is it because they find it more lucrative, or is it because they can't find jobs, or is it because they just think that's the way forward?
Okay,
or precursor to entrepreneurialism?
That's one of the points. I think most of the younger generation, they want to do something by themselves. They want to be their own boss.
Right.
So they try to either be an entrepreneur or just try to find jobs like this, like freelance jobs, so they can have more flexibility.
Right. And obviously freelancing is a stepping stone, right?
Yeah.
So then the INTI panel, when you spoke to these guys, the researchers, what are their points of view?
They think that this trend is definitely happening. So right now we're just beginning to see this here, but this will be developing. It'll be growing in the future, so you'll see more companies hiring freelancers rather than full-time employees. Because I think right now the business environment, I know the cost of doing business is getting higher. So this also provides more flexibility for businesses to cut down on their costs whenever they need to.
So in either case, Kazana and Inti, did any of these researchers kind of like put themselves forward as futurists and, you know, maybe say, put some thesis or some ideas in 5 or 10 years, 10, 15 years time, how the labor force is going to look like? Is you know, is there some kind of utopian ideal, or is it just kind of like status quo? Do they have any ideas about that? Not really. No. So they're just trying to get a handle on what's happening contemporaneously.
Just want to know what's happening now, and then just trying to gather data on that.
Yeah. So you're 26. You're just about in the demographic.
Yeah.
Are you guys as a group? You know, I know I can't. It's not fair to ask you to speak as a whole because you're just a straw poll. But are you guys more confident about the future, more pessimistic about the future? Because like you are the future, right?
Yeah. I guess. In terms of full-time jobs, I guess it'll decline in the future because with all this technology developing, like AI, some have said that AI would replace like 70% of full-time jobs. You know, especially those like easy to replace jobs like data entry and all this.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So.
But in the States, you know, the professionals are being taken over. The lawyers, the doctors.
Yep.
It's not just the Uber drivers.
Yeah. So, but then, you know, on the other hand, you have all these other digital platforms where you can find other ways to earn a living, you know?
Yeah.
So, I think some of them would be like, that have something to do with the sharing economy, Airbnb, Uber, Grab.
So the Gen Xers might be a little bit less optimistic about the future, but the Gen Ys and the Gen Zs are very optimistic for the future because you feel that technology is a platform. Would that be a fair statement?
Yeah, it is. I guess you can take advantage of some of the platforms like Upwork and all this. You can still find jobs on there, like some short-term contracts, things like that.
So then this kind of story, because it's just one of those that just keeps on gives and gives and gives, right?
Yeah.
Is there going to be a part 2, part 3, part 4? And if you do, what kind of angles do you want to cover?
I would like to have more data on this. I think Oxford Internet Institute had a really good data set on this. They compile
Oxford University?
Yeah, Oxford University, their Internet Institute. They have real-time data on the number of freelance jobs that are available around the world, and they update it like almost, I think, every hour or every day.
Really?
Yeah.
What's the website?
OnlineLaborIndex.com, I think.
.org or .com? Okay, one of those. Okay. Online Labor Index.
Yeah. OLI.
Okay.
So if we have like more data like that, maybe we can do a more in-depth research.
So it's all about price discovery, information discovery.
Yeah.
So where does that leave the Malaysian youth then, do you think? Just, you know, going forward?
Malaysian youth. I think more of them will opt for this kind of work.
Yeah.
I think freelance work, short-term
contracts. So it's
contracts.
not a flash in the pan, clearly.
No, it's. I'm pretty sure it'll be bigger in the future. Because once more jobs are being displaced by technology, they'll start to look for other avenues.
I look forward to getting more coverage from you on this in future.
Yeah.
Thank you, man.
Okay.
Take care. For more on this story, pick up a copy of The Edge Weekly at all good newsstands.